Now for our roundtable with our WPTV political analyst, Brian Crowley. Wouldn't be the roundtable without Brian Crowley. That's almost redundant, my friend. So, Florida faces continue to be dominant in the president-elect's cabinet picks. Matt Gaetz, the North Florida congressman, pulls out, but Pam Bondi, former Attorney General for the state of Florida, the new nominee for Attorney General. Break it down for us, Brian.
Well, you know, you look at it now and you kind of think, well, why didn't he just appoint Pam Bondi to begin with? She didn't come with the sexual assault allegations that were being made with Matt Gaetz. And look, even without all that, Matt Gaetz was not exactly one of the most popular people in the House, never mind the Senate. It would have been a struggle anyway. So it almost seems odd that he went through all this drama for 8 days and that the Trump administration was going through all this drama for the last 8 days, and then finally go to Pam Bondi, who is a very loyal. She worked as an attorney in Trump's first impeachment. She's very MAGA-like. So, but she also has experience. Pam Bondi there. She has experience as an attorney general, and
she has a track record as a prosecutor.
She has a track record which far supersedes anything that Matt Gaetz had.
And it would seem, given that, deference, the typical deference, will be given. And what we saw here was a line drawn where Senate Republicans said, we're sending signals, we're going to give you deference, but we're not going to just sit here with what we perceive as an unqualified candidate. And there's still a House ethics report that has not been released about Matt Gaetz and allegations of sex with a minor and other alleged tawdry acts, all of which he's denied. He said late last week, I'm not going to run for Congress. I won't be in the new Congress next year. What do you make of all that? And then we'll talk about Ms. Bondi a little bit more.
Well, I'm not surprised that he said he wasn't going to try, because he won the election. He could have been sworn into the new Congress, even though he resigned. But as you noted, he said on Friday, 8 years is enough. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Trump administration didn't appoint him to some position that doesn't require Senate confirmation. That's one area that people are looking at. And then, you know, Matt Gaetz has kind of hinted over time that he wouldn't mind running for governor in 2 years. So that's
not far off.
possible too, that he'll run for governor. So we'll see.
The national punditry said, why beard the lion here? That the president-elect seemed to be testing the limits of his power and will continue to with the Senate. What is your take on that, Brian? Because it's not very often that you have almost a universal sense that, including from some conservative writers in places like the Wall Street Journal, that this pick was a step way too far. Matt Gaetz.
You know, the founders really wanted the Senate to be a place where reason would prevail. You know, they viewed the Congress and said that, you know, we're going to limit them to 2 years because sometimes they're going to represent a population that's going a little crazy. And that the Senate would have 6 years and they would be able to adjust to things, stop some of the craziness that might come out of the House. And, you know, people forget that the founders didn't even have us directly elect the Senate.
Not until 1926, I believe.
So they didn't even trust the voters to elect senators. So I think we got a little bit of a hint that maybe what the founders intended happened with Matt Gaetz. There's some senators who were saying, look, this isn't the guy. That's their job, to review the potential appointments by President Trump, analyze them, study them, get all the information, and then make a decision. And I think that was a hint that we might be going a little bit in that direction.
And I know it was early, I was sitting there, eloquent as always, Brian. I said 1916 or 26 direct election, but it wasn't until the early 20th century. Pam Bondi, one would now expect, given that she does have a track record, that not a shoo-in, she'll go with confirmation, but it'd be hard to imagine deference not being given to that pick, even if for the mere fact that she has a prosecutorial record, and a record as an AG.
Sure, she was a state prosecutor. She was the Attorney General of Florida,
she's got a background.
The third largest state. You know, she took on some popular Republican-generated issues to go after Obamacare and some other things. She's very, very, very pro-Trump. So I don't see any obstacles to her getting the appointment. They're probably breathing a sigh of relief that they don't have to deal with Matt Gaetz right now.
So, my friend, serve up your pre-Thanksgiving. What's top of mind for Brian Crowley? And I know you always keep a notebook and an electronic notebook and an old-fashioned one. What else is top of mind for you as we head into Thanksgiving week?
Well, one of the things that I'm looking for that it doesn't frankly have a lot to do with Thanksgiving, but now that Marco Rubio is likely to become Secretary of State,
Political
I'm
Thanksgiving
really
week, by the way.
curious who he's going to appoint to replace Marco Rubio. There's a lot of push on the MAGA side and with Charlie Kirk and some of the others that they want Laura Trump, daughter-in-law of Donald Trump and wife of Eric Trump, to become the next U.S. Senator, and there's a huge push to make that happen. There's no hint so far that that's the direction DeSantis is going to go in, but if we've learned anything, we've got a lot of surprises in our election cycles.
And a Florida-flavored cabinet, it seems one way or the other, we're bound for a particular, obviously the president-elect calling Mar-a-Lago his home. Brian, I mean, we really do become in some ways a center of the political universe when he's down here that would have been hard to imagine not so very long ago.
There's a part of me that would like to just hang out at Palm Beach International Airport or at the breakers, because all of the power brokers every day are showing up in those places. They're landing at the airport, and I could just hang out there and grab people and talk to them.
I do have people ask me to that point, well, with so many Floridians, beginning, of course, with the soon-to-be 47th president, will that accrue to Florida? Will it make a lot of positive difference? I mean, what is your sense? I get that question from folks. What's it mean for us, if anything?
Part of the reason that downtown West Palm Beach is exploding and they keep building, they got plans for more and more luxury condos to go up and that kind of stuff, is because they believe that more and more of the business community will come down here because Mar-a-Lago's
near the center of power.
Look, I mean, business is about business. They don't care if it's a Democrat or a Republican. Ultimately, what they care about is how does it help the bottom line. So you can find them, and even among lobbyists, you can find the most devout Republican lobbyists today. You get a bunch of Democrats in charge, suddenly they're devout Democrats. It's all about the bottom line.
This from a man who's covered a lot of both, running around as the bureau boss in Tallahassee for many years. One of the best when it comes to politics and beyond. Brian, we'll have some closing thoughts from you in just a moment.